you go to the same cocktail parties that the State Department officers go to, and then a dinner party after the cocktail party, but in between you go meet an agent, and you pay him off, and you get a receipt, and you rush up to the embassy and stow the stuff so it won't fall out of your pocket at the dinner party or something, and then you go to the dinner party, and then after the dinner party you go run another errand, and this goes on day in and day out, Saturdays, Sundays, holidays. And when you begin to see that the organization as a whole is very sloppy and poorly run and the standards are very low, it's hard to stay motivated. It's hard to keep thinking it's worthwhile. And you really get to a state where you just really don't want to have to lock everything about your professional life in a safe and lie to all of the people you know about who you really are and what you're really doing and what your real dreams and aspirations and promotions are, and be able to complain to them about your failures or problems.
Well, I realize now that the business of the CIA is to go out and to corrupt individuals in place in their own countries, and that this is something that corrupts oneself. This was going against his upbringing, which was a strong Christian, very moral background, and he was coming into conflict with himself, hating himself, angry with himself.
You know, I would like to present myself as a man of intense principle who saw bad things and immediately resigned in disgust, but my career was obviously going quite well. I had the prestige of people coming to me for jobs, coming to me for advice, inviting me to lunch, wanting to play tennis with me. This is, you know, obviously a human satisfaction. I was not yet in top management. I couldn't really give away a lot of jobs, but I could speak on the behalf of someone. My income was about $33,000 a year. In 10 years, I could retire on a $21,000 a year pension for the rest of my life. I had total security.
Was it the thought that you would be continuing to do things like the Vietnam involvement in Angola and the Angolan involvement that you thought was immoral or counterproductive at the least?
Well, what I tried to do was to psych myself into going back to Africa as a chief of station in some place like Khartoum, for example, which would have been a nice post for my grade, and just not push covert operations very much. If something came along that was just sort of irresistible, some agent that just had to be recruited, will let an officer in my station recruit him, but basically just play a lot of tennis and let the paychecks come in. This is traditionally what burned out senior case officers do. And I muddled and waffled and vacillated and rationalized for about 8 months before I could tear myself away. I don't really look at it as taking that much guts to quit. I just sort of didn't have any choice. By November and December, I had intense pains in my abdomen, which were obviously the precursors of a stomach ulcer from the internal conflict of wanting to hang on to this career but not respecting it.
I had requested many times that Bob just drop out of the CIA, just get out and start life anew someplace. He wasn't able to do so when I asked him to, but now he has. He's seen even more since our divorce. And yes, I do feel vindicated when a man comes back and says you were right all along. Everything you ever said was right. Everything you ever said about everybody who walked into our house was right.
What lessons did you learn from your dad's experience?
Well, of course, it brings up values just all over the place. And that, I mean, you could break up on that a whole lot. But, you know, and listening to him right now, I'm learning this is something else.
What's your reaction to CIA now, Mel?
I think up high they're slobs, and then, you know, down in the lower, when you get down into the people who are actually out in the field, then they would do the working, you know. It strikes me as, you know, very inefficient, crooked, really just sloppy organization.
I was not a man at peace with himself. And since I resigned, I do not feel in a position of conflict. I feel in a position of being at peace with myself morally.